Hey everyone, this is Christina D, and welcome to a return to writing. Still very much a new channel, so you're never gonna get the same kind of intro each time. But let's talk about my book, Poems for Pennies. My first foray into self-publishing, because I can call myself a published author with this thing now, and that is great. But let's talk about what I used to publish this and why I almost unpublished this. Now, to publish this, I used something called Lulu Publishing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great place to start. I like the fact that you can just do like personal projects, you can just print things out and they won't have just like a giant like bar across it saying that it's a proof copy or something like KDP does. But my main gripe, if I could go back in time, I would have just started with KDP because every project after this is going to be used with KDP, and it's because as good as the print copies are and as wide as the distribution is with Lulu, because they do wide distribution. I know, mature adult right here. Pause, trying not to say it, but yeah, no, they have wide distribution, so you can sell your book on Barnes and Noble's website, Amazon, Kobo, all these different places. But my main gripe with those sales is that you don't really know when you've made sales because, as I learned the hard way, it kind of leaves you in the dark. And by kind of, I mean it really does. Because you want to know how I found out this book was actually selling and that I actually made sales? From the comment section on some posts I made over on post.news. Because, yes, I am over on Post. I love being on Post. I gave it a shot after the great Twitter migration, and I've pretty much fallen in love with the platform. But it wasn't until I saw comments on Post that I even knew this sold, because Lulu literally left me in the dark, because they have a 6 to 8 week period to when sales will show up on the sales reports tab. So for the longest time, what am I saying the longest time? As of recording this, it's still the only two listings, are the two copies I ordered for myself of this. One being the original proof that had a typo on the copyright page and originally had text on the binding, and it was very wonky, so I removed it. And well, the final proof, this thing. Right now, those are still the only sales that show up on the list. I still don't know when these other sales I've made were made. I don't even have just like a, oh yeah, no, like a pending sales list, or just like, oh hey, yeah, no, someone bought your book. It's like, this is where they bought it. No, I don't know where in the 6 to 8 week period before they show up on the list those sales even are, because Lulu literally leaves authors in the dark. And like I said, this is my first foray into this. I have no prior self-publishing experience. So if I were anyone else and this was a much bigger book that I had been working on for years and not just like 3 to 4 months as an experiment, I would I would feel very discouraged. I'd be tempted to remove it, and I almost did unpublish this because I thought no one was buying it. Like it honestly, it baffles me that they don't even have at least like a pending sales list. Like, oh hey, you've made a sale. It I, it just baffles me because again, I literally almost unpublished this because I was left in the dark, because I didn't know. It literally wasn't until I saw comments over on Post that I knew this even sold, that I knew people were even actually purchasing this. Like, as of right now, all I have is a vague idea of the revenue that I'm making from the price listings on the project page itself, and the vague idea of how many sales have been made. That's it. I don't have any real, like, official list of, hey, yeah, no, It's like there was a sale this date, and this date with this store, and this store. I don't have any actual records of it yet because I don't know how far into the 6 to 8 week period since those sales have been made I even am. So while Lulu is great for like personal projects or even things like, hang on, I've shown this in previous videos, but edit copies or even just like quick like art copies, like advanced reader copies to send out to people. It's like aside from that, I don't think Lulu is the best for self-publishing until they change that, until they get more on top of actual sales listings. Because it is genuinely discouraging not knowing anything. Because, like I said, literally the only two sales listed are the two proof copies of this thing that were both done by me. So, you know, aside from like edit copies of my books to make editing easier when it comes to the full thing or even just a larger number of chapters to edit, or even just like personal projects or just like gifts for other people, I don't think I would suggest Lulu for anyone jumping into self publishing. It's like, yes, I could have started with something like Draft to Digital, but the reason I went with Lulu was because it was cheaper when it came to proof copies. Because Draft to Digital, like, while they do offer paperback, it's still very much in the early stages, and not everyone, myself included, has 30 bucks every time I want to get a proof copy after making a change. So from now on, I'm definitely swapping to KDP because I don't have the money to keep up with Ingram Spark as much as I would love that wide distribution, and I appreciate the wide distribution, which is part of why, well, another part of why I went with Lulu. As as great as it is to see my book on places like Barnes and Noble's website, because it was always a dream to see like a book of mine in Barnes and Noble, whether it be on the website or in the store. Yeah, no. I would at least like to know my book is being seen and reaching customers. I would like to know when these sales were made. And until Lulu changes that, every other project from now on, unless it's like an edit copy, an ARC copy, or even just a personal like project for myself, yeah, no. I don't think I would recommend Lulu to start out. It's like until or if they change it, as far as how they show sales. Yeah, I I don't think I'd recommend Lulu for starting out your self-publishing.